Yo, I just wanted to make a quick video to talk about my experience with Into the Light and why I think it was so fantastic. From a person who's played Destiny 2 since the beginning, and somebody who's played Destiny 1 since the Taken King, I think Destiny 2's Into the Light update was probably the best update that has ever been released that was free. This update was just jam-packed with so many things, and it set out on a mission to link up the old player base with the new player base, to get the returning people to come back and to give people who haven't really ever pursued Destiny something to chew on and to love. So what I commend Bungie for doing is I commend Bungie for allowing players to just essentially come into the game, no knowledge of it, and allow them to skip the campaign to get with a friend and teach them how to play the game, or they can go through the campaign and do it at their own pace. They have an option. I love that. I love options. I love the fact that inside the Into the Light update, Into the Hall of Champions, you had the chest at the front of the room that would allow anybody to essentially be at the level of power to be in these activities. I think that's great. Like, take away all of the boundaries and just allow people just to come straight into it and have fun. Inside of Into the Light, we had secret missions in Whisper and 0 Hour, which are two iconic missions that are very core to the identity of Destiny. I think that they come straight to the point of creativity and mystery, and they also give you a sense of a rush for completion. Getting those missions into the game, and even me just carrying some of the viewers through it for the first time, it was so fun. Even me going back and reliving it, trying to figure out where to go, it was so fun. And it could be also stressful and nerve-wracking and annoying whenever you're just spending so many minutes inside of this encounter because you don't know where to go, or you just get destroyed by, you know, non-stop ads. It was all good fun. It's all great things. So I commend Bungie for bringing back those activities and giving them a facelift. They are changed in the fact that they don't have any of the secrets that you're used to seeing if you're an old player. It allowed the old and the new players to both have that experience of, this is where this new stuff is. Where do you go? I don't know. Let's go figure it out. That is awesome. I'm glad that they did that. I love the fact that it was not easy in a way. Like, it was very much so, this is hard. Like, you need to come with it. You know, you could do the normal version and get through it. That's fine. You know, you might get a little scraped up. It's fine. But the legend versions of them felt very difficult, and they felt like, okay, this is Destiny. This is feeling it. This is feeling that difficulty. So I love that they were able to kind of keep difficulty relevant in the sandbox that they've created, where abilities are coming back at an all time. I mean, like, the Guardians are essentially at their strongest. This is the strongest that Guardians have ever been, right? So, like, we're just kind of insane. So it was good that they were able to reel in a difficulty that married up well with that accelerated play that we're living into right now. So I commend Bungie for the secret missions. Did great. Then we get into Onslaught, right? So, well, really, Onslaught was the first thing that we were able to stick our teeth into. The secret missions came later, but still, even though, in terms of weight, I guess is how I have this set up. Like, in terms of what it is you're getting out of it, is how I have this set. So Onslaught is a horde mode. We haven't had a quote unquote horde mode ever in Destiny, so this is something that's brand new, and it was great. It was so well received by the community. I know that I loved it. It was something that I always wanted in Destiny. It provided a sandbox to try out builds, to try out weapons, to just be daring. And there's not that many activities inside of Destiny that allow you to be that way. Either you create a build that is meta and that is geared towards a completion of one vein of content, or you make another build that is fun to play, but it cannot necessarily be viable into these main veins of content. And I feel like Onslaught did a good job of creating an arena that allowed for both styles to coexist. We all had a moment playing Onslaught. Would this work? Would this work? Is this a good idea? Can I make this build work? What about Stasis? What about Strand? Is Void good here? What about Arc? That was awesome. Like, that might have been my favorite thing about the Into the Light update. To be able to selfishly look into my own builds from myself and not the team and just say, what would I want to do here to be fun? And I loved it. It was great. It was fantastic. I really loved the rewards inside of Onslaught. We got the Brave Arsenal weapons, which are essentially returning weapons that have a facelift to them. They're these iconic weapons, you know, like you got the Falling Guillotine, Luna's Howl, you have the Mountaintop, you have Edge Transit, even though it was a meme when it was first around. You just had all of these great, fantastic weapons that new and old players could enjoy because they were very strong. They were worth chasing. And getting into the chasing aspect of it, you know, Destiny currently is in the space of craftable weapons, right? So we've essentially kind of, you might like it, you might not like it, but essentially, if you're a type of person that loves to grind for those random drops, there's something here for you, because there are random drops here in shinies that are rare. You can't craft them, you know, you had to have been there to get them. But then there's also that element of the game where it's just like, I don't have a lot of time. I just want to be able to get whatever I need. I want to be able to have a good weapon. So then you have the crafting system. So there was something here for everyone, because even though the weapons might not have dropped in the frequency that you wanted, it still was a rush to try to pursue these weapons in some aptitude, because you just don't know what they're going to drop with, but you know they're going to be good. The perk pools on them were great. They were fantastic. Having a shiny version was just a cherry on top. I personally liked it. I like to be able to craft weapons, but I also want something in the game that makes it to where I'm working to get it. And whenever I do get it, it's just that reward of like, ah, man, this actually dropped, you know. Destiny, I think, got away from that with the crafting system and with the changes to exotic drop rates and stuff like that. But it was nice to have Onslaught because it was just refreshing to kind of like go up to a chest, pick up an Ingram, and you see that it's a shiny, and you're just kind of like, whoa, this could be something really cool. So good job to Bungie for implementing that, and I hope that they bring that back in some regard, some kind of way. Even though the shinies did have double perks, or well, 2 sets of perks, it was cool because there was a cosmetic that tied to it that lets everyone know, and you know, that it was something that was different. I hope that they continue to do that in their future content, because that was fun. It was something to pursue. I really enjoyed the difficulty of Onslaught. There was a 10 round variant if you just want to get in and get out, just have some quick fun, get in, get out. There was a 50 wave version that allowed you to get in and push the bar a little bit more. You can earn more rewards. You could play a little bit longer with your fire team, but it was that feeling of, ooh, I've completed this, here's the loot. And then there was Legend, and Legend was not for the faint of heart, at least in my experience. Legend really required you and your team to just pay attention while you're playing. You can't really go autopilot, you have to pay attention. I love the feeling of being on the edge of the seat in the content. That was great. It kept me engaged. I love the fact that whenever they realized that the drop rates weren't what they needed to be, they increased it. They listened to the community feedback. So it got to a point where doing Legend Onslaught, or even normal Onslaught, doing it for 50 waves had a payout over time because of the rewards. So I'm glad that they listened to the community on that. Onslaught, I hope it's something that comes back, and I hope it is something that, when I say comes back, I mean I hope that is something that is revisited as a system, and it's reapplied to the game in a new creative way, and they just don't let it be, oh, it's just like Gambit, it's just here, it exists, you can go do it if you want. No, I think we should run into the world of Onslaught and try to develop it and try to make it into something that's more, because I really do think that there is a vein inside the community that just is desperate for this type of content. Maybe some more interactive elements, like we had the turret, you know, we had the tripwires, and then we had shacks. Why not add some more things in there and just kind of give us a little bit more variety, some more enemy types? I think Onslaught is fantastic. A+ activity. And then we got Pantheon. Oh, Pantheon. I think Pantheon is fantastic. It is a raid gauntlet, which essentially is these key bosses throughout the lifespan of Destiny 2 being added week after week until the final week of having, you know, these 8 bosses to defeat. And if you're a returning player, you're familiar with these encounters, you're familiar with the objective of the encounters, but kind of how you get there is a little bit different. You know, maybe there's a little bit of extra debris in the road that you have to kind of take care of before you can get to your destination, which I loved. I love that they changed it just enough to where it made you feel plugged in if you were a returning player. When you came into this activity, you were asking yourself, ooh, what's different? What's changed about this? Not everything was incredible. Not every change was major, but it was the fact that a facelift was applied that was enjoyable. Also, I really enjoyed the fact that Bungie allowed exotic drops to be purchased. I know some people inside the community have this opinion that if you do a raid, you should earn your exotic, as in terms of a drop. You shouldn't be able to just do a raid or whatever and be able to purchase it. I'm on the other side of the fence. I think it's so important to get people into raiding and to lower the walls of raiding so that more people can come into it or see into it and have a general interest into it, because raiding, I think, is actually the pinnacle of Destiny for me in PvE land. I mean, it is literally the just cornerstone of communication, teamwork, sacrifice, and joy. I think that raiding is just the cherry on top of the whole entire game. So to allow players to come in who maybe did not have those raid teams or didn't have that confidence to jump into these activities, I think that the Pantheon Gauntlet did a really good job of making people feel interested in it, because hey, you can buy this exotic weapon, come on and come do it, come buy it. The changed encounters were great. Some of them were different than others, more changes, less changes. I really enjoyed the fact that there was a scoring system inside of the Pantheon. You get so many kills with a certain type of weapon, you get different types of medals that's reminiscent of the Guardian games. I really love that. Your scoring points. It's also a timed event, so that if you were able to complete the raid encounter within the time that was given to you, you could get platinum rewards courtesy of your score, which I thought was great. Like, I love that. Shaq screaming at you at the top of his lungs was also another added bonus. I love that. That was just so cool, so fun. It broke up the monotony of like, we wiped, let's start over again, we wipe, let's start over again, and then you just hear Shaq just screaming at you, especially after you get the clear. He's just kind of like laughing. I think Shaq's probably called me a bastard once or twice. That was awesome. The weeks of addition, going from week 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, I really enjoyed that it was the same thing, but we're just adding another layer of the cake. And I love the fact that the difficulty was also increasing with it, because it was a very good representation of what it is like in a day 1 activity. Also, it lets players get a feel for what it's like to really go far into the end game, because the week 1 was, I mean, it was way easier than week 4, but it allowed for people to try out raiding and then to see, ooh, is this something that I want to do? Is someone I want to do? I've never seen the LFG light up so much for Pantheon or any raid activity in my life. Like, Pantheon really scorched the earth in the LFGs. You had so many people I've seen on Reddit getting their Godslayer titles because of the LFG, because this activity was so appealing to them. So W to Bungie, this is another A+ activity. And then also too, getting the title, the prestige of holding something called Godslayer is just inevitably badass. And there's this level of like, this person had to work to get it. I don't think you could get just carried like a barrel of apples and just get this title. You really had to work at it in some kind of way. You had to sacrifice something. And if you were one of the few that didn't really have to sacrifice anything and you were just able to grab the title and easy, hey, great, you experienced Destiny raiding. But to the people that had to earn this title, and they had to go through the trials and tribulations of it, the wiping, the success, the failures. You've lived in raiding. Congrats. So I just wanted to make a quick video just to salute Bungie and say good job for making such a great content update to Destiny. I'm hopeful that into the final shape we get something that is very good and it offers a lot of replayability, but also I'm hoping that we get something inside of the final shape that understands its identity and it tries to cater to everyone, of new and old. I don't want to see some content that comes into the final shape that completely separates the player base. I want to see more things where old and new can come together. So good job, Bungie. This was just a random person's take on the update. I think you did good. Keep it up. That's all I got.